Chris, what are you doing, buddy?
We are so over budget on ammo. I come out here and you've got targets up. You know we're over budget on ammo. I have no more budgeting for ammo. So what are we going to do?
I got something for you. Here.
Oh, no, you didn't.
That's
no,
right,
you
Chris.
didn't. Hey, guys, welcome back to the shop. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Caden.
What's up, Chris?
Welcome back, bud.
Hey, thanks, man. I like being on this show.
Hey, we got something kind of cool going on right here today.
Oh, yeah. We're doing 22 LR.
22 LR. You can always find the money to shoot 22 long rifle.
Yeah, in fact, we've got some shooting footage at the end of this video. Disclaimer, some of the ammo that we shot had some subsonic mixed in, so we had some malfunctions. That's not part of the gun's fault. That's because we were shooting the wrong ammo in it.
With this Ruger Wrangler, no problem. It's single action. With the semi-automatic stuff, when trying to shoot subsonic rounds through it, no cycling the bolty did not work. So, just a disclaimer: the guns work flawlessly. It was probably a ammo choice. Well, it's definitely ammo choice. But anyway, these are Caden's firearms. All but one, and mine didn't even work. But the guns that you see us shooting actually all belong to Caden. You want to talk about them, Caden?
Yeah, I'd like to, but first, Chris, let's talk about why we're even talking about 22 LRs today. Why do I have a table full of 22s?
Because we're cheap, and we are going way over budget on what we're spending on ammo to shoot some of these guns. Not complaining, guys. Keep bringing the guns in. We will find the means to buy ammo, but, we're cheap.
I like saving money. I don't have any money to begin with. I'm a college student.
No, I was born broke, and I'm still broke. I'm probably broker than what I was the day I was born.
But, let's talk about these guns, Chris. On the table, there's 2 handguns and 3 rifles. One of the rifles is yours. I've actually got 2 Ruger 1022s here. You might not be able to tell that they're both Ruger 1022s. This right here, if I could get it out. There we go. This is a Ruger 1022, but this is put in a, and I'm not flagging Chris here. It's in front of him.
It's in front of me.
This is a Ruger 1022 in an Archangel chassis. Archangel stock that I put on years and years ago. I've had this Ruger 1022 since I was probably 12 years old, and I put that on about the same time that I was getting it. But we got a few more guns here. One is another Ruger 1022, a little bit more traditional looking. You can find these for about, what do you say they are now? About $200, $250 now, Chris?
Yeah, you can get them on the cheap for, just a shade over 200, around the 250, and they go all the way up. They actually go all the way up to, pretty big bucks, $500, $600, $700 for, depending on what you want in a Ruger 1022. But, if you don't have the money, get the basic, get the cheap version.
Buy one of these used.
Yeah, buy one used. You can pick them up for a song in most cases, and they're totally customizable. Today is the first time I've ever had any experience with this Archangel stock. It was comfortable. It may not be for me, but when I was firing it, it actually felt like I was shooting a much bigger gun than a Ruger 1022. I mean, it had a good feel to it.
Yeah, it feels really good. It's kind of fun. It's more of a novelty than anything. Kind of like putting lipstick on a pig. I mean,
oh yeah,
and not really, because Ruger 1022 is a fine rifle, but you don't really need all this stuff. I bought it when I was young and a little bit dumber.
Yeah, and people always say that the AR-15 platform is super customizable. Well, the Ruger 1022, which can be had for a fraction of the cost, they are also super customizable. You can make it anyhow. If you like the Paw style, if you like the wood furniture, leave it bone stock, or if you like the tactical, just get you some kind of. And they have other options other than the Archangel. I mean, they have a lot of different chassis for the Ruger 1022. They've been around since forever.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about this rifle you got in here in the middle, Chris.
This is my Smith & Wesson M&P-22. I've had this gun. This is like probably one of the first gen versions when they first came out with them years ago. My son bought this for me then for a Christmas present, and I have cycled through a lot of different firearms over the years. But, this rifle I'll be keeping from now on because, and I'm not a collector by no means. It's just that this gun, if there's kids here, if there's women here, and we're having a barbecue and someone wants to shoot, this is my go-to gun to let the kids shoot and let women. A woman could shoot either one of these guns as an introduction to shooting and enjoying it. And this, when you first introduce someone to shooting, a lot of cases that's going to make or break them. If you bring out a Ruger 10/22 or any one of these 22 weapons, that makes it so much more enjoyable. And then next thing you know, they've got the fever, and then they're going up in their calibers. So this is a great beginner's gun. This is anybody can shoot a type of firearm, a pleasurable firearm. No recoil, not very loud. Me and Caden, we was wearing our headsets while we were shooting, but really with 22, you don't really need to. I mean, they're not bad. They're not terribly loud.
Chris and I shoot a lot, so it's a good idea for anybody to wear their hearing protection at all times. But we wear it, just because you do get a little bit of hearing loss from it.
Force a habit, especially if a camera's out. I'm always gonna do my best to have my ear protection on, just to try to set a good example. Because back in the day, I used to not care. I would go shoot. It wouldn't bother me. Now I'm kind of suffering the consequences. There's a whole lot more, huh? What? There's a whole lot of that more in my speech. So my apologies.
I mean, I'm 24 years old, and I used to shoot 30-06 without earplugs, and I can hear it now. I lay down in bed at night, and you can't stop the ringing. So once it goes, it never comes back.
But this Smith & Wesson M&P in the 22 version, great beginner's gun. And I was telling Caden, this wasn't my first ever AR-15. This is the second AR type rifle I've ever owned, and I've still got it. And I could shoot this, and I could train for pennies on the dollar, as opposed to my 5.56 or 223. I mean, this gun has just brought so much joy to my life. Just me shooting it and me letting other people shoot it. A really fun gun to shoot, and you can get those they're not that much money now.
You can shoot 10 22 rounds for what it costs you to buy one 5.56. I think that 5.56 is around 40 to 50 cents a round.
Like
now.
50 cents a round. I bought a couple hundred just a few weeks ago, and it's 50 cents a round for the cheap. That's not the good stuff. That's the cheap.
Mm-hmm. And so definitely a great affordable option for those that don't have a lot of money like myself.
Yeah, and want to get out and plink. Especially like in my situation, which I get out here at my range right beside my house. It don't matter what we have to shoot. I get out here and shoot it because my neighbors, I don't care if they like it or not. It's my property. I'm that kind of guy. But on the other hand, if you're the kind of person, well, I don't want to shoot my 30-06 or my 12 gauge. My neighbors are home, and they may be trying to sleep or get some work done, or whatever the situation. You could get out with the 22 long rifle and probably not bother your neighbors, because do be mindful of your neighbors. Good neighbors makes a good defense, and I believe that. It's just my neighbors are used to me getting out and shooting, so if I went a couple weeks and they didn't hear me shooting, they would probably come looking for me.
If they really had a problem with guns and you shooting in your backyard, they would have left a long time ago.
Yeah, they would have left a long time ago. So I happen to have great neighbors, but you could get out and wherever you are, and you could shoot this, and you could not bother a lot of people as far as the decibel level, driving everybody crazy.
I want to talk about my handguns here. Now this is reach it here. This is a 6 Sauer 22 LR 1911. And I like this thing because, I've got a couple of 1911s and I love shooting them. But what I don't love doing is paying for 10 millimeter ammo or 45 ammo. You buy it online, it's $20 a box. In stores, about $30 a box. You got to pay shipping. And I mean, that's a lot of money if you shoot it every day, which I shoot a lot of my 1911s. And this is a great option because I can come out here and I can shoot it all day long, and it's not going to put a dent in my wallet.
Yeah, and like I was saying a few minutes ago about the training, so in today's market, you're not going to find many options where there is a 22 long rifle counterpart. Like you just touched base on your 1911 that's chambered in 22 LR. If you're the kind of person that has the mindset and you want to train, you could get your 22 long rifle and you can go out and train all day long. Or you can get your AR-15 type rifle and train all day long. There's most all types of guns that we have now. There's a 22 long rifle counterpart somewhere. If it's not made now, it's probably in the works of being made. Whether you like the AR-15s, the Ruger 10/22s, or the AK platform like I like, shoot, you can even get 22 long rifles in a AK platform, and you can train for pennies on the dollar. So
Reach me that one right over there, Chris. I want to talk about this one here. If I had to make a tier list or a top 10 or whatever it was, whatever you call it, of best guns for a beginner to buy, I would probably put these two Rugers that I've got here on the table, well, all three, I would put these at the top of the list because this Ruger 1022 right here and this Ruger Wrangler 22LR, you can shoot these all day long. They work flawlessly. The 1022, of course, is revered, but this Ruger Wrangler right here, I think this would make a great gun for somebody to start out with. It's not complicated. It's got a loading gate. You can load up to 6 rounds at a time. It's single action. I just think it would be a great, safe option for somebody to, because there's not a lot of moving parts to this right here. You pull the hammer back, and then you can go boom. You don't have to learn about a decocker. You don't have to.
The epitome of keeping it simple.
Keeping it simple. That's exactly right.
Mhm.
I think this would make a fantastic first handgun for somebody. Not as a defensive option because, again, it's single action only. But just for somebody to buy and see if they want to, see if they like guns, see if they want to buy some more of them, this would be a great option.
Something like that covers a broad perspective. You know, like we was talking on a previous video, that could be your truck gun. That could be your trail gun. That could be your backpacking gun. Something lightweight, something it's not going to break the bank to buy. Something that's, you can shoot very, very cheap. And to be honest, with the lack of recoil coming out of a 22 long rifle, accuracy isn't an option. You have it. You're going to have it. When you get used to that gun's center of impact, you can even take a 22 long rifle that, some people may not be too accurate. If you get used to it because you're shooting it more, because you can afford to shoot it more, you will get good at shooting any 22 long rifle because you're taking the recoil out of the equation. There's no flinching. There's no need to flinch when shooting 22 long rifle. You can train yourself to successfully, be a bullseye shooter with a 22 long rifle. Any 22 long rifle, you can train yourself to shoot very, very accurately.
That's why I like the Ruger 1022, and I especially like the Ruger Wrangler, is because as a beginner shooter, you may not really have all the fundamentals down.
Yeah.
But it'll help you work on those, and it'll help you really quick because you can see your results on the paper.
I've got in my shop, I've got a Ruger Blackhawk in 45 Colt. It kicks like a 6-legged mule. I mean, me and Caden, we've shot at success. It's a good shooter, but stuff like that's not something you want a new shooter shooting a 45 or a 44 Magnum, 357 Magnum. The 22 long rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because just like Chris mentioned a few minutes ago, and I kind of want to touch on this, there's all kinds of women out there that can one-hand a 10 millimeter. They don't mind a bit, you know what I mean? But if you take your average, your girlfriend or your wife, or you want to take them shooting, if you hand them this big bore revolver, they're probably not going to want to come out with you and do it anymore. And that's not what you want. You want to introduce people into this, and you want them to like it.
Yeah, you want them to have that pleasurable experience. And I think a couple of days when you was down here, one of my car customers was here, and in the semi-automatic world, I have run into, so I know all about it. As far as my wife is concerned, she's left-handed. She's a little small, petite girl. And years ago, when she was trying to shoot her semi-automatic in a 380, she was limp wristing it, and it was it didn't cycle correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing. Limp wristing a semi-automatic is a thing. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've always heard of it. I wasn't for sure if it was legit or how it worked, but if you limp wrist a semi-automatic, it will do some weird things, and it did that on her. We ended up having to get rid of that gun because every second or third time she would pull the trigger, the empty hole was hitting her right in the forehead,
mm-hmm.
and it didn't do me that way, but I wasn't limp wristing this gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to introduce, especially a new shooter, a veteran shooter, somebody that's shot lots and lots of rounds. They're still going to, if they don't get a smile on their face when somebody jerks out a Ruger 1022, they're lying to you. They're real good at covering, because the Ruger 1022 is, without a doubt, is probably one of the most popular rifles ever built. I mean, they're so versatile, and these guns aren't just for planking. I grew up hunting with a Ruger 1022. I mean, and in some states, I have to admit, like in the state of Virginia, you're not technically allowed to hunt with anything under a 23 caliber. But when I was growing up, I could say I squirrel hunted, rabbit hunted with a Ruger 1022, and actually the one I had was wore out when I got it, but it was a fine gun. I love that gun.
Mhm.
So very good 22 long rifle, perfect option for anybody. When we're shooting, you're going to see a lot of failures to cycle the bolts on these semi-automatic guns, and that's just because of a man here. He decided to throw a handful of subsonic ammo in the mix.
Got anything else you want to touch on?
I think that's all I've got. Like I said, get your neighbor, get your brother, sister, mom, and dad, get them in a headlock, make them subscribe. It's not hard. Heck, do it for them. Hijack their account. Like always, thanks for watching. Consider subscribing, hit those bells, and later.
Let's see if I can hit it. Oh boy.
We have the Ruger Wrangler and 22 long rifle.
Oh, Chris, we're leaking.
I like mine shaking, not stirred.
Hey everybody, this is my Ruger Wrangler. I like this gun. Watch this. Uh-oh. Dead cartridge.
Chris, what you got there?
This happens to be your Sig Sauer. It's the 1911-22. Are the lawyers onto these? Or is it all Sig firearms, or is it just some of the other guns?
I know this one. Turn it over there real quick. I know it says 6 Sauer on it, but I think these are actually made by GSG.
Yeah.
I think it's put their name on it.
We ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready. Uh-oh, that one sounded weak.
That's what happens when you have molded ammo. And empty.
So I like shooting 1911s, but I don't like paying for 45. That's why I got a 22
Or 10 mil.
or 10 mil. I don't like paying for 10 mil.
Some of those sound like a low-powered fart.
Yeah, I brought some bad ammo.
And here we've got the favorite, the old trusty Ruger 1022.
This is an old Ruger 1022.
It's actually really nice.
I like it. That was another one.
We finally got that emptied.